Hello, everyone. I'm Casey McBride.
And I'm Mary.
I'm Coach Tony with Positive Pineapple.
And this is Shaman's Way, the YouTube channel dedicated to spreading the magic of spirituality and healing to the community of the world. Stick around and we're going to have a wonderful conversation on possibility, consciousness, and whatever other magic the day has for us. Welcome, everyone. All right, so I got my friends Tony and Mary here, and as I'm talking, I am just and you guys might need to do this too, but make it public on your profile, so that way we see your comments. But yeah, we're just going to hang out and talk today. Tony and Mary, I met through an incredible synchronistic experience. I've been trying to get on with these some of the bigger YouTubers, people who do health, wellness, spirituality type stuff, and but have a little bit of a larger audience because I really want to spread this this healing work, this shamanic work, and all of this that I do with as many people as I can. And so I was on a Facebook live stream for the Certified Health Nut, this guy Troy Casey, and Anthony was watching. Commented that he was from Westlake, and I think he heard me say I was from Rocky River. So he reached out, sent me a friend request. We got to talk, and we connected. Have been hanging out, and man, I just love everything that these guys do and we've been having so much fun together.
Yeah, it's been a great time. It was really cool. It was very synchronistic how that worked out. Because Troy Casey, actually, he's the guy that got me involved into breath work to begin with. So like he's kind of like a hero of mine, and I don't typically watch his live streams all the time, but that's just how it worked out, and here we are. So it's really amazing, and I'm very grateful and thankful for Troy to help us, and it's also very synchronistic that your name's Casey and there's Troy Casey, and
yeah.
I think that's just super amazing and just blows me away. Because as far as I'm concerned, Troy Casey, he's generating a lot of freedom for humanity, and I love watching him. I love being part of the same world that he's in. I dig it.
Yeah, and it's amazing. You guys are like 7-8 minutes down the road from where I live. Like what an incredible small world. It's amazing. Yeah. So I was telling you guys last night, I wanted to start out with this and just this really cool, some cool experiences I had yesterday. But I was telling you guys about this, but I'm going to share for everyone. So I'm not the kind of person that really needs any kind of proof that what I do in terms of my healing work or my travels through the realms of spirit is true and real. I know it's real. The universe has proved it to me over and over and over again through many years. If there was any doubt in my mind, I would have to be a serious idiot at this point. But it's still cool when the universe gives me this undeniable proof, like, hey man, all this wild stuff you're doing, like it's 100% legitimate and real. So we were on a hike, Tony, Mary, and our friend Hank and I, and I had the feeling that maybe I had kind of like picked something up from the forest, or during that time I was open enough to hiking that something happened, and like something was kind of attached to me, like an entity or something. And so the night before, or the night after our hike, I was sleeping, and I got woken up in the middle of the night, and by a couple different things. But at one point, it actually felt like someone went like and slapped me on the belly, and it jolted me awake. Like I thought someone snuck in my room and slapped me on the stomach, and I woke up expecting to see someone there, but there was no one. So I call on my beings of light, and I'm like, hey, if there's any entities or anything messing with me, like please, like tell them to chill out or kick them out. I'm trying to sleep. I don't have time for this. And so I get up the next day. I'm going throughout the day, and then I'm sitting there, and it almost feels like I'm being like bit on the ankles, and like I'm getting these little jolts, and it feels like I'm being bit on the ankles. And so I messaged my friend Mary Ford, not this Mary, another Mary, and I was like, hey, can you all I said was, can you take a look my way energetically? Just see what you see. And so she's not with me in person. She's at her house, miles and miles away. But she just energetically takes a look my way, and she goes, oh, what's up with you getting bit on the ankles? And so right there, I never said anything. I never told her about this. She just was, and I'm like, yes, I am. I'm getting bit on the ankles by
Wow.
someone. I'm like, what is this? So right there, I'm like, all right, this is proof that, but as if that wasn't enough, she's like, all right, give me some time. I'm going to do some work. So she does some stuff. I'm not aware of what she's doing. She doesn't tell me what she's doing. And then she just messages me and said, all right, there's these 4 beings. And I got them to the point where I wasn't supposed to kick them out, but I've calmed them down enough where you can talk to them now and get some work done with them. So I brought myself into trance state, and then I took me and these 4 beings into this space. I believe we were in the upper world, and I started trying to talk to them, and they were just a million miles a minute. All wanted to talk at the same time, and I said, whoa, slow down. We're not going to get anywhere. You talk. So I just pointed to the first one. She's like, I don't want to leave. I don't want to go, but they want to go. And they're like, well, we want to leave. We want to move on. We don't want to be stuck on this plane, but she's not ready to move on, and we're not leaving unless she leaves. And so I'm like, all right. So I said, well, what is it that's keeping you here? Why don't you want to leave? Like, they want you to come with them. What's keeping you here? And she said, my daughter died, and I don't know where she is. I don't want to move on until I know that she's safe. And so I asked one of my angel friends to come, and I was like, hey, do you know can you find where their daughter is and show her? And so my angel friend being comes over and says, well, she actually reincarnated on a different planet. Here's where she is. And then that entity, that woman, that spirit, was like, poof, and she just left and went to that planet. And these other 3 beings were like, well, what do we do now? She's still stuck on this plane, but now she's like, who knows where she is? And I'm like, all right. So I took on Paqo form. I took on like global cosmic shaman form, and I was manipulating time and space, and I bent time and events and things so that she could have plenty of time to spiritually interact with her daughter who was incarnated on this other planet. Did all this work, and then I brought all 4 of these beings to the lower world, and we met with Weskarinka. Weskarinka is in the Paqo tradition. He's the the guardian of the lower world, and so I sat him down, and I was like, "Listen, we have to talk." Oh, first off, we sat and washed our feet in this river, and he made them help me wash my feet of this energetic debris from being bit on the ankles from them. It's like an atonement, kind of, for them. and I sat down and I was talking to them. One of the interesting things that happened was they wanted offerings. They wanted these offerings to be made to them. And so Weskarinka kind of took care of it and made these offerings for them, and then returned some soul fragments to them as well. And then I talked to them like, listen, this way of interacting with people, getting people's attention by biting them on the ankles and causing all kinds of chaos, like, this isn't good. You have to see this isn't good. So what we're going to do is I'm going to cut the energetic cords between you and your daughter and all the other people you're connected to that's keeping you here on this plane. And you're going to move on so that you can interact with them from a higher place, so that you can interact with them from the higher dimensions, so that you can communicate with them in a way that's a contribution to your loved ones instead of all this chaos that you're causing. And they agreed, and they said, okay, that was okay. So we went through this process of cutting their cords, and then I brought them to the upper world, and we moved them on, and that was kind of the end of it, and they thanked me at the end of that. So I messaged Mary after this, and I told her all of what I just told you, and so many of the things that happened during my journey, she was doing that work with them. Like manipulating time. She took them to the upper world, and in the lower world, she met with Weskarinka. They wanted offerings. All of these things all were like the same kind of experience that we were having. We were just adding different pieces of the puzzle, and they needed the interaction from 2 different shaman. So to me, it was just the coolest thing. So many just within that one interaction with these beings that were trying to get my attention. There were so many, to me, just undeniable secondary independent reinforcers, proof that undeniable proof that this is all absolutely 100% real. It's just as real as the physical reality, any of this crazy phenomena, all of this wonderful shaman stuff that I do. All these realities are equally real. And so it's just so cool to experience that. And I've been giving this kind of proof time and time again. And it's still cool when I receive it. And it seems like you guys are starting to receive some more and more of that as well. You were telling me you had a little bit of a story about a past loved one as well. Maybe you want to share that.
Oh yeah. So like most of my life, I've had like some sort of, I guess, clairvoyance. Like I didn't know what to call it or anything early on or pre-awakening. I didn't really know what that was. I've always had some sensitivity to spirit though, and been able to see and decipher things. Because even like my awakening, a lot of people will ask me things about, hey, what's some good information? Or they'll be like, hey, have you heard of this guy or that guy? But like, yeah, not all of them. I didn't really come upon my awakening through reading. It happened to me through spirit. It came to me naturally. The things I know came to me naturally. And kind of like how you, as you are saying here, like you've been reminded that it's real, like you know that it's real. Because for me, when it first started happening, I kind of didn't say much to Mary or anybody really, because I wasn't sure what was going on, and I was concerned maybe for my mental health. But then as time went on, and then I started meeting other people and seeing other people and what it was, I started understanding more. But yeah, as of recently, just us being together in our interaction, we power each other up. I can sense yours, you can sense mine, I can sense hers, and even other people around us, because we're all connected. And within that time, just recently, a few days ago, Mary's grandmother, she passed on. And through that passing on, I've had some sort of spiritual psychic connection to her, and I've actually felt her, and even more so last night and this morning, I had some more things come to me, some more feelings. And what's been revealed to me is actually that I'm aware now that Mary is a reincarnation of her grandmother's mother, who actually died when her grandmother was a young girl, and her name was Mary as well. And they've always had like a certain type of relationship in this physical world that was even her grandmother would say, like to some degree, you were always like, you know.
She always told me I was yelling at her like I was her mother. Because she was a strong Sicilian woman who took no shit from anyone.
Yeah. Yeah, no
She
doubt.
was always bossing people around, and so I kind of put her in her place and just, told her to be nice sometimes when she needed it. So, but she always told her aunts and her cousins and stuff that I reminded her of her mother.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And it's so cool how this information that we receive from spirit, that awareness that she's the reincarnation of her grandmother's mother, how it fits in and it interweaves, and it makes certain aspects of our reality and our relationships with this world and with other people make more sense.
Yeah, it creates understanding. It's a deeper understanding. That's basically how I see any of it. Like spirituality and things like that isn't a learning, it's a remembering. We are it already. It's just we've forgotten. It's like we've been purposefully given amnesia in order for us to grow, for our spirit and abilities to grow, so we can become what we're meant to be. Like I don't see anything as there's ever been a mistake or something's gone wrong or anything like that. Everything has to happen so we can get here.
Yes, everything happens the exact way it should. I just wanted to pull this up real quick. Shireen, I think this was right after I told my story. She said amazing and wonderful.
Hi,
Thank you, Shireen. Hey, glad you're watching as well. Yeah, it was so cool. It is. All of this is so cool. And then, I've been doing shamanic journeying, which is the practice of entering into a trance-like state, and that just means a very relaxed yet focused state. You're still awake, but then exiting your body and traveling through the realms of spirit. And I've been doing that for, as a practice, as actual shamanic journeying is recognizing what it was. I've been doing that for about 13 years, but I remembered way back when I was a super young kid, I was doing this. I just didn't know what it was called. It was a friend of mine and I actually that would do this together. And sometimes we would have the same experiences. We would journey together and share our experiences. But we eventually told ourselves it was just pretend and we were, just playing and all that. But later on, I rediscovered it and I'm like, oh, this is what I was doing. So, because I've been journeying for so long, oftentimes I kind of launch right out. And I'm like ready to just go on crazy adventures, travel to other planets, other realms, other dimensions, and get all kinds of crazy healing work done, or aid other races and whatever. Like I've acted as an ambassador and a mercenary and all kinds of things for all these different beings that are in need. And I do all, and I've seen the most incredible places, experienced the most incredible things beyond what most people would ever think is possible. But last night, during the master class of my apprenticeship, he took us through an exercise of being really simple, just learning to navigate your spiritual body outside of your physical body, and one of your bodies. You have many bodies that we can travel with. And it was just really simple. He was having us walk around our room, like interact with an object, really take time, feel it, feel the texture of it, see every detail, smell it, really get involved, and then just walk down your hallway, wherever you are, and get outside, and then find like a tree or something, and then interact with that, and then see all the blades of grass, all the stones, the bricks, or whatever it is, and be really engaged. And just to take it so slowly like that, and to really take your time, and instead of just going off and doing all this wild stuff, to really slowly slow down, engage the senses, and really drink in the experience, was so incredibly beautiful for me. I mean, I was outside of my condo in spirit, and I could see every single blade of grass, every leaf on the tree, every little stone in this walkway. Everything was so incredibly vivid and real, just like it was as if I was there physically. And it was so cool to do that. And so I'm so excited that I'm learning ways now to train, better ways to train people, to teach people how to do this. Because, this is the kind of thing that so many people think that it's you either you have to be some kind of anomaly and have some kind of crazy powers in order to do this, or you have to train for like 40 years to learn how to be able to do this kind of traveling or something. But really, anyone can learn it very, very quickly. And so I'm super excited to share that, because when you start to open up more and more, you learn to travel outside of your body, you learn to interact with spiritual beings, you learn to do all of this stuff. But man, does your reality become infinitely more magical. And even just, so we were talking about like death and people passing on, I know exactly what happens. I travel these realms that are beyond the physical. I go to the realm places I'm going to be when I'm dead all the time while I'm alive. And so I know, I have no doubt. I know there's incredible, amazing adventures waiting for me when I pass on. So not only do I not have a fear of death, I have an excitement about what happens after.
Right.
But I'm also thoroughly enjoying this. And as I say that, as many incredible experiences I've had traveling through the realms of spirit on this planet here in the physical, man, are there some incredibly beautiful places and experiences to be had. Like, holy crap, some of the forests and deserts and places I've been are just like immensely beautiful. And so there's so much experience to be had here. So it's funny.
Get you to the redwoods.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Bucket list place for sure. Yeah. Alaska was a bucket list place. I checked that one off. That was great. And the redwoods have been one as well. So we'll have to go out there for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you're in that state, would you consider to be similar to astral travel? And do you have awareness of your form at that point?
What's funny? I've never really known what people specifically mean by astral travel.
I think of Doctor Strange is what my concept of it would be, like watching Doctor Strange and how he can leave his body and go into an astral form.
Sure. Then in that case, yes. Like when I was doing the exercise yesterday, or I can do it at will. I can do it right now at will. But I leave my body. I'm aware of my form. And it depends on how I'm traveling and where I'm traveling to. But sometimes my form is exactly like this physical body. And, and I have the same body and everything. And then other times I take the form of like an angel and an angelic form, because that's where I came from before I incarnated on this planet. Other times I take on other forms depending on what planet or realm I'm traveling in. But absolutely, I'm aware of my form, and it's so yeah. I guess you would say yes. It's like astral travel then. In that case, right. If that's what it means, it's just you're aware of your form and you're traveling around the world outside of your body. Then yes, absolutely.
All right. That's amazing. Yeah, because my senses are more like attuned to frequency. Like I feel and sense vibration, basically. That's how I perceive it. And then it turns into information for me. So I just think everybody's kind of got different ways that they connect at first. I mean, I'd imagine as time improves, as my connection to everything improves, that will improve, because it consistently does. It's led me to my understanding of what I really am. Is I'm an infinite being having a human experience. I'm totally aware of that now. And now it's like it's a lot easier to navigate life when there is no fear of death. Like, not like I was actually ever afraid of my own death, but I had fear of my death, as if I were to die, I would leave people in some sort of position, where that's actually just a lie. You don't have control over that anyways. Whatever's going to happen is what's going to happen. Whatever's supposed to happen is what's going to happen. And having no fear of that whatsoever, and knowing, hey, you never die, your energy, you just change form. That's all that happens. That's the beauty of, I guess, would be spiritual awakening, is knowing that you're eternal.
Yeah. And, it's funny because I find amongst the more of the new age community, so a lot of them kind of have this idea that when you move on from the physical, that you no longer have a body, you just become like this infinite oneness. And that's not true. You're already that infinite oneness. But we have many, many bodies. So think about this, like, how are we, people who have the awareness that there needs to be an energy driving this body, how could we drive a body if we didn't have a body beyond this body? Does that make sense?
Right. Well, because it's layers. It's all layers. Like this experience is one layer to many parts of the enrichment of our soul. So yeah, that makes total sense to me. It's just how, like, even awakening and awareness, it's in layers. Like, it first starts off as just seeing, like, hey, I can see that there's something happening where I'm not the thinker. Like, I'm the observer. When you start realizing that you're not your thoughts, that's the original awakening, saying, hey, I see that. And then slowly the layers start peeling away. And it's basically, through my perception, is facing of challenges. Like, life is this physical human realm. The whole idea for us to be here is to be challenged. We're here to be challenged. And through these challenges, we learn how to navigate the challenge, and it enriches the soul and makes us more complete and ready to handle the next set of challenges, or the next layer, or whatever happened, whatever the story is that you're meant to unfold and become, is where it leads you.
Sometimes I think about this because, like I said, most of my memory is actually prior to coming to Earth. And so I know, like, where my brothers and sisters are in spirit. I know where I come from. And sometimes, like, I'm learning certain things, especially about the Paqo Kuna tradition here on Earth, where I'm learning this stuff. And I'm like, man, I can't wait to bring this back to them. Like, once I'm done with this body, like, I've accumulated so many incredible experiences, learned so many fun things here. Like, I get to bring this back to my brothers and sisters in spirit once I'm done with the physical experience. Like, how cool is that? This accumulation I get to share with, so many people.
Yeah.
And it looks like there should be some kind of, like, music or something that plays. But it's our pineapple fact of the day. Pineapple fact of the day is that pineapples can help reduce phlegm, making it easier to breathe. Additionally, pineapples contain the enzyme bromelain, which helps the lungs remove debris and detox naturally.
Indeed. Thank you, Vinny.
Thanks, Vinny.
Thanks, Vinny. we like fun facts. We like pineapple fun facts. Those are great to know.
I just had to pull it up there. That was great. Like you were saying, you start to kind of discover new layers, and these layers are always there. Our layers to our existence, our being, they've always been there. It's just that we're so pulled into identification with the mind, with the thoughts, that we're not able to see past that until like you said, we stop identifying with the thinking mind, and we're able to step outside of that and see, wow, there's way more. And the less of your attention is pulled in to that incessant thinking mind that just wants to go in loops and keep you trapped in either the past or the future. When you really open up and your awareness expands, oh my gosh, does reality get really fun at that point, man? You become aware of so much more. Your experience becomes just absolutely incredible. Like anytime like right now I open up my site, I'm aware there are angels around me. There are these little fae beings. There's fae beings flying around, little nature elemental spirits that are like hanging out. Some of them are on the desk here. And and how cool is that? That just like opening up my site for a second, I can see all this stuff. And like, it's like a fantasy world. Like people read fantasy novels and watch movies and they're like, man, I wish if only reality were that cool, but it is that cool if you open up to it. It can be way more cool than any fantasy movie or novel you've ever read. It can be the most fascinating experience, even just to be, sitting around doing nothing can be amazing if you start to open up to it. So that's why we're doing this. That's why we're sharing this with all of you, is to start to plant those seeds to make you a little more aware, so that you might wake up and experience the most incredible reality you've ever been a part of, which is this one.
Become aligned with your consciousness, and that's exactly what we do. That's why we started this Positive Pineapple, and why it's called the Positive Pineapple, because we still have people ask us, like, well, how did you get this name Positive Pineapple? Well, what it has to do with is with enlightenment. It has to do with the opening of the third eye, or the pineal gland, or the crown chakra. There's so many ways that it's been explained through history of what awakening is. And then until you start really observing it, it sounds abstract. It sounded very abstract to me, like, what is this third eye? And until now, science is proving it. Science is proving that, hey, you have this gland in the center of your head called the pineal gland that looks like a pine cone or a pineapple. And what it is it really is an eye. It has rods and cones just like your actual eye, except it doesn't take in light frequency. It takes in different kind of frequency, a knowing frequency, because everything that's within our five senses is our limit. Like it's the limit that we've been taught to believe. Like, here, this is your limit. This is what is just these five senses. And we've been cut off from the real sense, this sense, the connection to what you really are.
And we were just having this conversation before we hopped on here, but for every sense that you have physically, taste, touch, smell, sight, hearing, all this stuff, you have all of those senses in spirit. And there are names for all of them too. I don't know all the names, but for example, like your vision, your spiritual vision is clairvoyance. Your hearing, your spiritual hearing is clairaudience. Your sense of touch and feeling is clairsentience. Like there's an equivalent to every single sense we have physically, spiritually. We have all of those senses, and anyone can learn to develop all of them. Anyone can.
Yeah, I truly believe that. I mean, I've been able to develop my own little amounts of understanding, and I've definitely helped a lot of other people do it, because another thing, that's one of the greatest things you can do for anybody out there that's looking to try to improve their ability to perceive and understand. It's about the breath. The breathing is A1. That's how you get connected. That's the bridge between the conscious and subconscious mind, is this thing that you do that one is automatic, but also you can control. And so when you practice this, you start firing and wiring new sets of neurons and capability within the neurology of the body. And then this thing, what it really is an instrument. This is an instrument for which we observe this. So the better that we can do that, the better it all kind of works out.
Yeah, it's fascinating. But like you said, the breath is integral in all of these traditions, whether it's Qigong or Tai Chi or various shamanic, all the shamanic practices throughout the world, they all incorporate the breath, and they teach you like the primary way to move energy outside of just cycling it in and out of our body to keep us alive. But when you start to learn to consciously work with energy, it's also the breath. The breath is that conscious bridge. It can be unconscious. It unconsciously regulates not just the flow of oxygen through our body, but the flow of sami, of light, of prana, all these different words for energy flowing through our body. But it also can consciously drive it. So you connect the breath to a conscious intention. And then instead of just a breath coming out of your nose unconsciously, you can do a conscious breath and move energy out of your hand or out of a different part of your body, or you can get really crazy and combine the breath with different intentions to do specific things and create incredible changes and all of that. So
yeah, absolutely, because that's what it is. It's layers of conditioning. So for most people who are pre-awakened or near the beginning of their awakening, it's overcoming the conditioned mind, the conditioned thinking. And so through the breathing, what happens is it puts you into a different state. Like right away, as soon as you slow your respiration down, it changes you from sympathetic mode, where most humans spend most of their time. I know I did pre-awakening, was always in my incessantly thinking mind, worry, fear, all these things. And then when you start tuning into the breath, and a little over time, it starts peeling away these layers of conditioning and starts allowing you to have more understanding of what's going on and seeing the limitations in which you're putting on yourself and the limits of your own understanding.
Yeah, and there are many ways. The breath is an excellent one. I think it's so cool because it's so accessible. People are, it's not as threatening as maybe just telling someone, okay, hey, go learn from a shaman. People are like, whoa, I'm not ready for that. You tell people, hey, just sit down, let's do a breathing exercise. They're going to be a little more ready for that.
Sometimes you'd be surprised.
Yeah, a lot of
people that are
out.
terrified, like, hey, would you like to breathe with us? And, the incessant mind kicks in. And the first thing is like, well, I'm afraid, I'm hyperventilating. Like, yeah, in a way, you're super ventilating is what you're doing. And what you're doing is you're pushing your physiology out of its comfort zone, because that's the whole problem. We're destimulated because of the comfortability in which we've created around us, which, is inherently part of the control system of human beings at this point.
But aside from those people who are afraid of hyperventilating, for a lot of people, it's easier, to sit down and do a breathing exercise as opposed to, just telling them, hey, sit down, I'm going to guide you on a journey.
Absolutely.
It might be a little less intimidating. But either way, whether it's through the breathing or through shamanic training or whatever you're learning, we all eventually come to the same place. These are similar realizations about reality, and it's learning who we are. Who are you really beyond just your mind, beyond just your body, beyond your emotions, beyond even your energy fields? Who are you beyond all of that? And discovering that is really what it's all about.
Yeah, and that's why breath is life, because that's the beginning. That's how you open up anything. If you're trying to open up in any way, that's the way to go. Because it's impossible really to focus into spirituality in any way when the incessant mind never stops running, if you can't stop that thing. And so the base of it is, and they've been teaching this is ancient human technology. This is, like you were just saying, it's nothing new. It's part of the cornerstone of all sorts of different modalities, but it's the very first thing you do when you get here, and it's the last thing you do when you leave. So it makes sense that it's the control factor, because when you actually look at the translation of soul is breath. So that's actually what it is. That's what's happening. So that's how you gain control of the nervous system, because until you have control of the nervous system, it controls you.
Yeah, and that's a great point. We were talking about this yesterday too. But before you stop identifying with the incessantly thinking mind, the mind is using you, right? It's pulling your attention into it. It's pulling your awareness into it to feed it, to perpetuate it, to keep it alive by taking in it. And oftentimes it's not taking you down into fun places. The mind will take you into spirals. One little thing will happen. You're walking down the grocery store, you walk past someone, you're like, hey, I don't like the way that looks. And then you think about, that reminds me of this person. And then that happened the other day. And and that person was doing this and they really wronged me, and blah, blah, blah. Next thing you know, you're going down like a 4-hour tangent in your head. And all that happened was that, you walked past someone in the grocery store. And and so that's the mind using you. It's using your who you are, your attention. It's pulling attention into it to fuel itself. When you break out of identification with it, then it's the other way around. You have this powerful tool of your mind that you get to use to create change in the world, to empower yourself. But until you do that, by whatever means, the breath, meditation, whatever, until you're able to break that identification with the mind and realize that you're beyond that, you're the awareness that holds the space for the mind. Until you realize that, then you're just being
right
pulled along whatever
until
direction
you
it
figure
wants to
out
go
that
you.
you're not the thinker. You are not your thoughts. Those are just energy
Right.
forms. So you're not the thinker. You're the observer. And until that's the whole trick is for, you know, unawakened humanity is what I've been there. I know what it was. I thought I was that incessant thinking. I thought that was this is who I am. What's happened to me is what I am, but that's not true. I'm whatever I choose to be. The rest is just happenings and things, stepping stones to get here, right here where we belong. Yeah.
And there are a lot of people that have false awakenings too, you know, where they think, you know, they say things like, oh, you know, I know I'm not my mind. Like I am spirit. I'm this goddess. I am one with all, and I am this and all that. But really, you talk to them and you get to talk to these people and you really get the feel for what's in their head. They're still heavily identified with their mind.
They identified with that concept.
Right. They're identified with the concepts of I'm not my mind, I am a spirit, I am a soul, I'm infinite, all of this. They're identified with that now, and it's no different than being
so what they're doing. So what I noticed through these people is what's happening is it's the ego. It's looking for a sense of superiority. What it's trying to do is say, I'm better than you. And so I'm better than you and everyone else in some way. Whereas true spirituality is the understanding that we are all this because we are all the same thing. You know, we're all part of one thing, one main consciousness. And when you understand that part, when you actually understand that part, all of a sudden, anything you ever thought in your life that made you superior to any other human being just washes away. It's gone. Like, no, you're me and I'm you. We're just in different pieces. That's it.
Yeah, no, it is, you know, and when you really are acutely aware of that, you know, you can be having a conversation with another human being. Like right now, I'm looking at you, and although it's through the computer screen, it can be in person, it doesn't matter. But I'm aware that you are the same exact thing as me. There's no separation. There's not even a physical distance between us. Nope. Even that is illusion. We are the same exact one thing.
Right.
And so I'm having a conversation with myself right now. Isn't that great?
Absolutely. It's just like how I perceived early on, like just when we first started coming together, I could see right away, like, oh, I've always known you. Like I might not know this physical form, but I've always known you. We've always known each other. We're eternal. We've been here already before, and I think we've done this many times before. This isn't our first time having interaction or anything like that, is because it's actually, I perceive us as neurons. I perceive this whole thing as you, me, and every other human being, and every other thing is just another part of a giant brain. So it's like we've always been here. It's just what's happening is coherence. The brain, your brain, if you work it, what it will search for is coherence. It will try to make sense and fire and wire things together. And so what's happening is you're manifesting, I'm manifesting, she's manifesting. Everyone outside of us is manifesting this reality. And to us, it seems like this physical human interaction, but it's far deeper than that. Because this, as you know, is an illusion. This is just fun, is what it is. This is the learning grounds, is what it is.
Yeah, it's all a play. All of this is all just the play of form. You know, it really is. And that's one of the things when you do truly wake up and realize that there's only one thing. You call it, you know, the void, consciousness, space, God, the present moment, and it's inseparable from this. All of that consciousness, oneness. It's also the now. This exact moment that's here right now, the only moment that ever exists. And I remember saying that to one person one time. I was like, you know, the past, there is no such thing as the past. And they're like, well, yeah, there is, because I remember I bought a shirt yesterday. How do you explain that? I said, well, when are you remembering that? When are you remembering it?
Present moment.
Right now. Yeah, so it's all happening, and when you think about the future, you project forward and think, oh, tomorrow I got this to do, I got that to do. Well, not really. You're thinking about that right here and right now. When that happens, it'll be in the now. There's only ever been one moment that has ever existed, and it's this moment.
Yeah,
right here.
You never really get to the future. The future comes to now.
Yeah,
the future becomes now.
You'll experience it in the present moment.
Yeah.
It's the only time we have to experience anything.
The eternal present moment. These were the things great spiritual leaders of the past, Jesus, Buddha. This is what everyone was saying. That's what the basis of these religions are, is the truth that you are it. Whatever it is you are looking for, whatever it is, you're already it. You just have to be it. You just have to let it happen. And that to me is like the most beautiful thing in realization for anyone. When I see that happen, when we help other people, because that's what we do. That's what we're in the business of, is waking other people up, is helping people understand and peeling away these layers of conditioning and falsehoods and thinking. And as you pull that away, that's the most beautiful thing, is to see someone have this realization of, wow, this is what I really am. This, that's really amazing.
It is. And that's the highest form of healing as well. I can free people of physical pain. We can reverse disease, illness, all this stuff. But to free people from the trap of the ego and the identification with the thinking mind, and to have them realize what they are beyond all of this, and to truly wake up, that's the greatest healing that you can do to someone. Absolutely. So I think this is a perfect place. It feels like a great energy, a perfect place to kind of start to wrap this up. So I just wanted to throw this out there. But Tony and Mary, speaking of, if you want coaching on this, if you want to help realizing your true nature, who you are, and freeing yourself, they can help you out. So just go to thepositivepineapple.org. That is their website. I have it up on the screen. It's just thepositivepineapple.org. And then if you're interested in what I do, if you want healing, if you need healing from physical pain, emotional issues, trauma, or you are interested in learning to communicate with your spirit guides, shamanswayhealing.com. I also do shamanic journeying, past life regressions, all kinds of stuff within the spiritual and shamanic realms. So that's my website there, shamanswayhealing.com. Everyone, also, in the link to the description is Tony and Mary's YouTube channel, The Positive Pineapple. So click on that, subscribe to their YouTube channel, subscribe here, hit the notification bell so that you get notified next time we go live and talk about all kinds of magical, fun, incredible stuff. Any closing words, Tony and Mary?
Mary, do you have anything?
I just want to go back to what we started with, which was proof of what you're doing and it working. And a perfect example of that was the healing that you did on my torn meniscus. Thank you, because without you doing that, there's no way I would have been able to go on your birthday hike with you the other day.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, same for me. I was having some issues myself that Casey helped me out with, and it was great help. So anyone that's out there looking for healing of any sort, I would contact him, and we're here to help. We're all here to help. That's where we're building this beautiful soul family of people to be able to facilitate space, create space and hold space and facilitate healing for people that are looking for it. And everybody's out there. And the more we go down this road, the more people that come this way, and you can actually feel the collective consciousness of humanity changing. And all I got to say is I'm super grateful for it, and I love it. And I'm really grateful that I've been shown through spirit about breath and about cold water, and it's saved and changed my life and many people's lives around me. And it's the best thing that's ever happened. And I love helping other people. So if you got anybody's looking for help or guidance or coaching, there's so many different ways that we can help you connect to your higher, best, true self. And we're getting exceedingly good at it. So feel free, please contact us.
Yeah, and be open. We've talked about a lot of different concepts and things today, and I know a lot of people would initially be skeptical of a lot of this stuff, but just ask yourself, how much fun would it be, if all this stuff was true? And then ask yourself, why not? What is there for me to lose by opening up and trying to experience this stuff for myself? Give it a try, experience it. Worst case scenario, you waste a couple minutes. Best case scenario, you live in the most incredible, amazing, beautiful reality you could possibly imagine. So give it all a try. Thank you, everyone. And I'm so grateful to have you guys here. This was wonderful. This was such a wonderful experience talking with you. I had so much fun.
Yeah, I can't wait to do it more. Can't wait. I want to do it more. Just keep going, keep spreading the word, brother. Keep getting people hip to what's going on. The more, because like you said, people are uncomfortable about it, is because it challenges the initial belief system, our conditioned belief system. So when we start talking about it and we see more people talking about it, the conditioned belief system starts to loosen up a little bit, and it allows possibility. And that's what we're here to do, create possibility.
Absolutely. And I just wanted to pull up this one last comment by Vinny saying, thank you all for everything you do. Super grateful. And we're grateful for all of you.
Thank you, Vinny.
because we wouldn't be here if all of you guys
Nope.
weren't here. So that's what we're doing. We're here for you guys. So join us on the next one. Thank you all for being here. A Nike, a Nike, a
Thank you.
Nike.
Breathe and believe.